Good afternoon and welcome to the latest edition of the Married with Children, Ladies of Married with Children documentary. As we look back on the 11 seasons of the iconic TV comedy show, where a smash hit all across cable TV channels all across the United States in the 1980s and 1990s. It was the making of Fox and Fox Network. And this week, in terms of the ladies, we're looking at, in terms of the documentary, we're looking at episodes. We go to season 9. We go to episode 24, and the episode in question was called Pump Fiction, and the actress that we're speaking today is the only one and only Wanda Acuna. And I suppose, Wanda, April the 30th, 1995, Married with Children aired. So you're talking 25 years ago?
Yes.
When you guest starred in Married with Children. Was that one of your? I was speaking to a few sort of actresses so far, and a few of them said that that was one of their first jobs on cable TV, and in terms of appearing in a sitcom and appearing on a big sort of TV show as a young actress. Was that a similar story for yourself?
Absolutely. 1995, I was at the beginning of my career. And yes, it was one of my first parts that I did do on TV.
And Wanda, in terms of the opportunity to get cast in Married with Children, how did that come about for you?
Well, I went through the normal process. You go through a process of where your agent calls you, you get submitted, and you go in, you read with, usually the first time around, you read with the casting director. And then if the casting director feels that you're suited, then you go back in and then you read with a room full of producers. And then sometimes on this particular one, then they had me read with Ed Bundy. So it was a 3-step process
Yeah.
that I did. And then you just wait for the phone call, and hopefully you get the phone call of, yes, you got the part. So, and you don't know that you're going to get the part till maybe a day or two later. And that's pretty much what happened. So it's not instantaneous. They tell you that day.
And I suppose that Wanda, in terms of Married with Children, once you got that phone call when you heard you were going to be playing a role, were you familiar, I suppose, with the Babette sort of role? Was that the one role you auditioned for? And when she got that announcement, then was your reaction with family members, loved ones, when you sort of told them? Had you parents? Obviously, this was a show. This was into its 9th season, so it was a cult phenomenon all across the United States. It was shown once a week. Everybody knew about it. Everybody watched Married with Children. So was there great eager anticipation and excitement, or given the content of Married with Children and some of the roles young actresses played, was your parents a bit hesitant at first?
No, actually, everyone was very supportive. I mean, the fact that you're just landing a job is just incredible. And it was one of my first jobs. So there was just a real sense of excitement. And the fact that I was also with Mr. Bundy. And it's just like, wow, this is a real deal.
And
Thanks for signing my inner thigh, Mr. Bundy.
Now, we promise not to speak of such things in front of Les Miserables. Au revoir. Au revoir.
I suppose that episode, Wanda, in terms of Married with Children, it was to do with Al and Kelly producing a video about shoes, Shios, a life in the day of a shoe salesman, and it sort of made Mr. Albundy want to become a film sort of producer, and that's where we see you make your entrance, coming in at right at Mr. Bundy household doorstep, thanking Mr. Bundy for signing your inner thigh, in terms of that sort of revelation, sort of such. And in terms of shooting that sort of scene, in terms of humor and the sort of crack that went with it, was so awful lot of good sort of good takes and good sort of jokes about it. And I suppose you had to try and play a dim-witted sort of young wannabe sort of girl as such. And was that sort of challenging or exciting or refreshing for you to play a character that was a bit goofy, as the saying goes?
No, it actually was a lot of fun, and we were able to do a few takes on it. So it was really a lot of fun. I just thinking back on it, it's it was really just funny. I mean, it's hard to come out and say, "Hey, sign my inner thigh," kind of thing, and now that you really say that on TV, we wouldn't really do that. So yes, we were able to get away with some sort of verbiage, and but Miss Al, they all made me feel so comfortable. Everyone on the set just makes you feel comfortable.
And I suppose in terms of when you arrived on the set for Married with Children, in terms of filming and shooting, one of the things as I've come across so far doing this documentary is some of the guest stars, even if there was their first job in the industry, they were given the VIP sort of treatment in terms of access to wardrobe, costumes, their own dressing room, places to fit out. They were looked after like the main cast for the time they walked into the Married with Children set until the time they departed. Any sort of whim or crook that they wanted was catered for. And was that the same experience for you, Wanda, in terms of your time on Married with Children, where you looked after well?
Absolutely. You are looked after extremely well. You have your own trailer, you have your makeup done, you have a wardrobe person. I didn't get to keep any of the wardrobe. Well, it wasn't that much wardrobe, to be quite perfectly honest. It was pretty much just bathing suit. But yes, you do get the star treatment. You eat meals with the stars. You eat meals with the entire cast. It's a whole week. Every day you have your name up on your private room. And they do just treat you very nicely.
And I suppose, Wanda, you mentioned there that you were there for the whole week. So obviously the takes that you weren't in, you were probably on set, you got to see some of the shooting that going on as well. And as a young actress, were you in awe? Were you learning from seeing the interactions between particularly in that episode, Albundy, Ed O'Neill and Christina Applegate, who played Kelly? Were you sort of watching those takes and trying to make visual sort of memory notes for yourself? And was it a real sort of learning experience for in the takes that you weren't in?
You know, it's pretty much you're not really allowed on the set when it's not your turn. So you pretty much just kind of stay into your own dressing quarters. And in the interim of it all, you are getting your makeup done. They may still be doing some tapings. You're getting wardrobe. There's always something that's being done on the set. As a matter of fact, they encourage you not to wait on the set. They pretty much don't want you to get tired. And so you just wait in the room. And yes, you are there for the entire week. You may be only on for about 5 minutes for the show, but you're still there the entire week. And it's a long day. You're starting, let's say, at 6 a.m. You may not wrap till 12 midnight. And I believe on that particular episode, we started around 6 a.m. and did not wrap till around 12. We were taping in front of a live audience also. And that's the other thing. When you are taping in front of a live audience, they don't want the live audience to see you wandering around. So it's kind of reveals the element of surprise.
And I suppose, Wanda, you mentioned that, I suppose, in front of a live audience. And was that sort of a daunting as a young actress, maybe in her early sort of 20s, parading out in a sort of a skimpy sort of bathing suit as sort of such? And the directors and the takes and the pre-rehearsals, did it make you feel at ease in terms of the wardrobe? Did you have any sort of say? Did they give you multiple outfits to pick and choose from in terms of fitting and sizing? And was that probably the most awkward, but after one or two takes, did you feel at home then?
I pretty much felt at home. I was not shy about walking on set in a bathing suit. I was okay with it. I come from a beauty pageant past.
Okay.
So being in front of audiences in a bathing suit, I'm very comfortable. And
Okay.
at that time, yes, at that time it was okay. I only had one or two choices. I didn't have a plethora of bathing suits. And we just picked the one that looked good on me.
And I suppose that one that, in terms of that, do you have any memories of waiting to hear when the show would be that your episode would be appearing live on TV in terms of the premiere of that week's episode? Had you any date? Had you dates? Was you given dates so that you and your family and loved ones could tune in and watch the episode? And do you have any memories of seeing the episode for the first time? I know we're going back a long time now in terms of that, but have you any memories of 1995 in April the 30th when it aired?
Well, I do know that every, let's say, episode or any show that I did, I would know the air date. And traditionally, what I would like to do is I would like to invite family and friends over for the a show that's going to be on television. So I would have all my friends there and we would watch it live. So, and my family was there as well. So yes, I would always have an event to watch the show.
And I suppose, Wanda, in terms of your career, and you mentioned you did an awful lot of modeling as well, and in terms of acting as well. So in terms of getting to work beside Ed O'Neill and Katie Segal, and I know you've worked with prominent actors, but when you see Ed O'Neill and Christina Applegate and Katie Segal still very prominent in the industry today, still having major roles, Ed O'Neill, Modern Family, Christina Applegate in movie after movie, same with Katie Segal, and I've gone into an awful lot of animated stuff now, like Futurama and stuff like that. Does it feel great that you see these people on TVs and you can remember your time talking to them off set or having shared a set with them? And does it almost feel like a moment of disbelief that actually happened? Because it probably feels like a lifetime ago, or maybe two lifetimes.
It has been quite a while. And when Ed O'Neill was, let's say, first on Modern Family, I looked back and went, whoa, that's such a different type of character than he was when I met him. But yes, I have nothing but praise for him. I have praise for Christina. I mean, that's fantastic that they have the longevity that they've had, and they continue, especially in this entertainment industry.
And I suppose, Wanda, in terms of Married with Children back in the early 90s as well, I suppose there was a bit of debate because it was revolutionary in the time in terms of its adult theme, in terms of it really was a traditional, it went away from the traditional modern sort of Catholic family where they all go to church on the Sunday and they say rosary and everything is done over a Christmas sort of meal. This was a family that had its troubles more than once, let's say, and there was the raunchiness nature of it, and it was geared towards let's say a 17 to 35-year-old male demographic at the time, and there was some scenes of light sexual nature in terms of how it portrayed sort of women actresses at the time. Do you think it was a bit over top, some of the criticism? It was really light-hearted fun, and did you really see the humor and comedy and what it was really light-hearted banter?
I saw it as lighthearted and fun. I had a great time. I did not find it offensive at all. And if I had to do it all over, I would love the opportunity to do it all over.
And I suppose, Wanda, lastly, before I let you go, let's pretend there was a Married with Children encyclopedia, a dictionary as such, and they put your character, Babette, into the Married with Children encyclopedia. And the editors of the encyclopedia were looking to find 2 sentences to say about your character for the encyclopedia. So they got onto your talent agent, who in turn rang you up and said, listen, they're looking for 2 sentences for Babette for the Married with Children encyclopedia. You portrayed the role. What would you like those 2 sentences to read to sum her up?
25 years later and still ready to put on that swimsuit.
25 years later and still ready to put on that swimsuit.
Yes.
Wanda Acuna, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today to relive your memories of playing Babette in season. We have it here. Season 9, episode 20, Babette, which aired in April 30th, 1995. The episode was Pulp Fiction. You played the role of Babette. Wanda Acuna, pleasure talking to you today, and we wish you a prosperous 2021. And hopefully, please God, we'll see you in a reboot of Married with Children sometime to come.
I would love that. Put in a good word for me. Bye.
I will, Wanda.
Okay.
Bye. Take care.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.